Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up? So yeah, I watched your 5 things foxes need to use in 2022 video, and then the first one was Fox's short hop up air.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
Uh, it is crazy, right? It's actually crazy, especially with all the ways you talked about it. The one that I was really curious about was using it to shield poke. So
Yeah.
when you were talking about the first hit of up air resetting shield DI,
Yeah.
is that a thing that works with all multi-hit moves?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh man.
If you ever notice, like when if you don't shield correctly against Marth, if you don't light shield, even if you angle it down, you kind of get trolled because the first one resets it and the second one just like pushes you off, and it's really obnoxious.
Yeah. Do we see that a lot in top level melee right now?
I think you see it a lot more than you realize, and that's because I think a lot of players like kind of know it's a thing, but don't really notice it that frequently. But since I started doing the up air, I started seeing other spots where it is. I'm like, oh, this is actually really annoying with everyone.
Yeah, I think maybe we might realize it on like a subconscious level, but consciously when you said that, I was like, what the hell? That's insane.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty
so
sure it's
you're
with all multi hits.
so you're actively looking for that on platforms
Yeah.
when their shield is a little bit lower and
The,
you know that they're gonna shield the eye down.
Yeah,
I
the main
guess.
reason is because if you don't shield the eye down, you know how back air can shield poke, and that's really annoying too, especially like higher percents. Yeah, that's what they're trying to avoid. They're trying to avoid getting hit by the down air, the back air shield poke, or I guess in theory you could like horizontally shield poke with a second hit of up air, but that seems like a little obnoxiously hard. That'd be more of a spacing thing, where it's like you have to have the first hit of up air come out before you get there, and the second one come out when you're on top of them. I guess that also would shield poke if they weren't holding down.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of things you can do, but yeah, it becomes a really obnoxious mix-up, especially at high percent, and it kind of forces people to have to light shield.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like you do have to light shield. That's really the only counterplay to it, or like jumping away.
There's a way
thing
you
that
can
people
shield
do
DI
it?
that does. I have to actually lie about like the specific way you can shield. I somehow don't get hit by it. I think there's a way I'm holding my shield that like counteracts it. I don't know what it is though. So I have to
see.
go back and actually analyze it.
Okay. But in general, I can kind of till you work out the counterplay. In general, I could say like multi-hit moves will reset the shield DI. Will
Generally,
reset shield.
yes, they do. I can try to look at more specifics, because I'm sure there's stuff that I'm missing. Like I'm not an expert on every single micro situation there, so I'm sure there's stuff that I'm off on. But generally, yes, that's a thing.
So if you know their shield DI is down, does that give you any? Do you use that information as like an indication of what their DI will be post hitting them or shield poking them? Or do typically people like let go of it really quickly and like smash DI it? Or is that something that you
No,
look
no one
for?
does that yet. They just get hit by it.
Right, they just get hit by it, and then they're you know that they're holding down because they're shield DIing down.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then sometimes if the person's shield is just like kind of big, like you're still doing shield damage with the first hit of up air, and so sometimes it just does enough shield damage that even if the second one wouldn't have hit before, it'll hit now, even if they're not holding down.
Right.
So there's a bunch of things that kind of go into it.
Okay. That's crazy. I guess I'll look out for that more. Other moves that might do that would be like Martinair. Falcon's Nair, I don't know if I've really seen that, but I guess
I
try to
guess
look
it
out for
could,
more.
but the way like Falcon's Drift works, I feel like that's gonna be not as common,
not as good.
but I could be wrong. I genuinely have to see. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Why do you think it like changed so drastically that we see it so much more now than I don't know, even like 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
Because Clinty made a video on it 3 years ago. Nobody followed it. And then one day on stream, I did it. And I was like, this is broken. And then the next day, I was like, this is still broken. The next day, I was like, this is still broken. And because I have every tryhard in the world in my stream, I think I started doing it.
So Kalindi was doing this for like the last 3 years, just like kind of
he didn't do it
as appreciated.
No, he didn't do it for the last 3 years. He barely did it at all. What wound up happening was that he knew it was a thing, and then was kind of like, oh yeah, like this is probably good. And then we didn't really do anything about it. And then I was like, no, this is really so what? Okay, Kalindi and I have a very fun relationship. He tests out a bunch of things and they're like, yo, this might be good. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, he gives it to me because he knows that I'm really, really good at figuring out where stuff's broken. And then I find out every place that you can use it. That's usually how our relationship works. And so once he gave it to me and I started super like labbing it. And then we're like, oh, this is actually just like one of the most busted things. And we also found out that short up air is busted. Okay, it's working now. I don't know why. Sure. But yeah, so
he quit law school for this.
Okay, yeah, that is true. I did. But God damn it, that threw me off so hard. That just completely threw me off my train of thought entirely.
I'm trying to sync it up to whoever subbed.
That was me testing this up on Streamlabs.
Shit.
Nobody subbed.
Nobody subbed.
Short up air can't get shield poked. Or shield grab, sorry.
Yeah. You said it can't get shield grabbed, but if they have shine, then they can shine out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if
that's crazy.
If there's a dirty shield grabber, and think about it, it's like you can't shield grab it, but if you get hit by it, it's like probably Fox's actual best combo starter.
Yeah.
So it's like super fucked up.
So you just leave the situation if you're getting up aired on shield if you're not a spacey?
Yeah, kind of. So there are a few things you can do about it. One, you can call it out beforehand, right? Like number one thing that people I think are scared to do, it's like, oh, this thing is really safe on shields. Like, okay, well, what about before the hitbox comes out? It's like you can call it out, which is really, really good. Yeah, up air's -3 on shield. Okay, cool. So you can call it out before it gets there, which is obviously really strong. Also, you can just dash and punish it like anything else.
Right.
You can shield it if you're a spacey. I guess even if you're a puff, you could probably shield it because you could, in theory, power shield rest or some shit.
So the main counterplay is like anticipating it, because once it hits your shield, you're kind of
anticipating or dash dance punishing, yeah.
Or dash dance punishing, yeah. Okay.
Both are really broken.
What were people doing prior to the up air? Like, what did it really replace? Like run up smash?
Up smash and nair.
Up smash and nair.
Yeah. A lot of people nair into the corner. I still think nair into the corner is very good because nair shine in the corner is a very brutal thing to get hit by.
Right.
But like, the better that people are getting at like slide off and like holding down, the worse and worse that is getting. It's still an obnoxiously good tool, but it does have its like fair share of counterplay that up air does cover like fairly nicely.
Nice. Huh. Okay, so effectively like kind of less neutral air is used and less like kind of run up smash.
I still think not as many people are using it. Yeah, it's still used. I don't think it's being used as much as it should be yet either. You shouldn't be spamming it, but I think in neutral it's still not being used as much as it should.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And I think I'm not using it as much as I should because I forget about it a lot.
Is it because, I guess it's just muscle memory, it's something newer and you're trying to incorporate it into your gameplay?
Yeah, exactly.
Is there like a fear of using it? Because everything you're saying, it sounds amazing on paper, right? Like everything sounds
it's comfortability. You like to do what you're comfortable with. It's because melee is so fast and you have to rely so hard on like muscle memory, but you oftentimes have to rely on like what your built-in muscle memory is, and it's like I'm very comfortable comboing off of like nair and up smash, and sometimes like I'm not comfortable like split-second decision making with the up air because it's not ingrained.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Is there any Fox you think like uses it the best, or do you think that's you?
Probably me.
Probably you. Okay.
Probably me. There might be someone that I haven't seen yet that even at like a lower level that uses it like phenomenally well for their level.
Sure.
But I haven't seen it yet. I still think overall it's me.
Okay. Yeah, I guess probably will get used way more just based on what you're saying.
Over time, I think people realize that it is very, very, very good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Anything else you want to add on short up upper? I watched the video, so I saw all the other stuff.
No, I think that pretty much covers most of the important stuff.
Yeah. So, and then the second thing you're talking about was Fox's back throw, and you're mentioning that Fox is like arguably the best tech chaser.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, why do you think we don't see as long tech chases? Like, we see Falcon doing it to the full. We see Sheik doing it to the full.
Because they have a down throw that leads to it. They are good at like the grounded, repeated tech chase. When I say Fox is arguably the best tech chaser, I mean that his likelihood of converting off of a tech chase is probably the highest of anyone, and also he has better tools to like. The reason I think Fox is so good off tech chasing, right? When Falcon tech chases, usually for reliable reaction, right, he's just gonna regrab, right? Which does have its own risks. Right. Fox, when he's tech chasing, he can up tilt tech in place, which is faster than grab, which leads to anything in the world that you want. If he feels like he's off on the tech chase, he can tech chase with Shine, which is a frame 1 move, which eliminates like 5 frames of reaction time needed, which is absolutely insane when you think about it. And you couple that with ridiculous dash speed. Yeah, it's kind of unfair, actually. Even if there was like some kind of ambiguous DI thing like she has to deal with, you just up tilt both.
Right. So you're talking about like each individual like tech chase situation, not necessarily the length of like the
Yeah. His likelihood of converting into a massive like combo off of any individual tech chase is both higher than I think than anyone else, and also the risk reward is higher because the risk is pretty low given how good he is at tech chasing. Except against Falco because of the tech roll and spot dot shine. That's a little different.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
He
And
still
then
can tech chase Falco, by the way, for anyone wondering. It's just there's a little more risk associated because it's a little harder.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, then the third thing you talked about was DI for slide off. A lot of these questions are going to be like kind of basic because I just want to hear how you would articulate it and what your thoughts are.
Yeah, that's fine.
So what is like the standard counterplay for slide offs that you're consciously thinking about as other people are showing their slide off techs?
Current meta is I'm usually waiting. I'm going to dash into around it the same way I would dash into around like a Falco coming down with a downer. Mostly because people anticipate when people are you doing slide off, it's like an unanticipated outcome. And 90% of the time when there's something unanticipated, people like to attack out of it because they think they're going to catch you off guard. And so if I notice that that's going to happen preemptively, I'll do one of two things. If I think it's a super defensive situation where they're sliding off to jump out, I will just try to read their jump. But if I think it's like a slide off of an up throw and they're just trying to get out, I'm usually just going to try to either CC the impending back air or just dash into around whatever move they're going to throw out.
Okay. So a lot of this just comes down to having a really good dash dance. I mean, I
Yeah,
see
dash dance is pretty important.
Yeah. I mean, it just it's a really strong counter to so much of what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Crazy.
dash dancing is just a really like Mango's Fox is very basic, not in the way that it's like it doesn't do anything that's like intricate. His ideas are intricate, but the actual Fox tech skill is very, very basic. But it's just his dash dance is so freaking good that it doesn't matter. Like that's most of what you need with Fox.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Even when I watch like other people's just tutorials and things like that, they really just pound how strong the dash dance is. So
yeah, it's broken.
Yeah.
It's like literally like the biggest tool. It's like your entire movement is dash dance.
Right, man. Okay, cool. The fourth thing you talked about was countering ASDI down tech. What are like the most common situations where you'll see ASDI down tech? I know that Fox's up smash at low percent.
Yeah,
that a lot.
That's basically the most common one. When Sheik's tech chasing or F tilting at percents that are still ASDI downable, a lot of people will ASDI down tech them. I think a lot of people ASDI down tech Falcon stomp still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say Marth. For whatever reason, Marth like to down air at like somewhat mid percents or something. Right there, it's pretty common to do it. Fox wave shot naring can get ASD down tech pretty easily at a mid to low high percent. Mostly moves that have that same type of like trajectory are where you're gonna find ASD down tech. Things like a Fox nair or like a knockdown move like an up smash.
How often are you actually looking for the countering ASDI down tech that you're talking about, where you know that they're holding down and
depends on the level of the player.
So you're looking at it a lot in top 8s and top
yes,
15s or
I'm
32s.
very ready for it in top 8s. When I'm playing in pools, I'm not super worried about it. Because even if they hit it in pools, to me, it's like the player's not gonna be able to outplay me everywhere else in the game. And people are like, well, that's dismissive. I'm like, well, no, it's not dismissive, because if they were able to outplay me, who's won Summit and Riptide in every other way of the game, I would probably know who they are. Right? They wouldn't be a random. So even if they hit it, I'm not super worried about it. I'm worried about more of like the super high like reward stuff, like back throw shine, right? Where that's what I'm gonna be a lot more worried about. It's like I'm gonna make them do a longer edge guard, because I if they can outplay me, they're sick, they're good, right? But most of the time they're not gonna be able to do that consistently, and so I'm not super worried about it. But once it gets to the high level where the small things matter a lot more, those like tiny things, like Wizzy will do it every time. Zane is actually the best overall at it because he intentionally doesn't do it every time.
Oh, I see. He intentionally does not do it every single time, so that he punishes you trying to counter it.
Yes. There are actual mix-ups based off of it because he very intentionally does not do it every single time.
Well, so if we look at the up smash in particular, then he gets just popped up by the up smash? Right?
If he's wrong,
down tech?
Well, he'll sometimes tech it away.
I see. Okay.
And sometimes he will just get popped up by it, yes. But it's the thing is, I never know what's coming. This is a counterplay where Zane does do the tech and gets punished for it. I can share my screen. Where he doesn't do it, I can try to think about that while I show you this. This will just give you an example of a place where he...
I saw this in your video where he...
where he waited for this. Like right there, you saw that. Okay, that spot dodge was him ASCM teching. Where he doesn't do it.
The second time that Mango reads a spot dodge, though, in the same stock, it's not for that reason, right? Because he's out of the percent.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Read the spot dodge the second time.
I'm trying to think where a spot where so the thing, it happens to us in friendlies a lot. I don't remember a situation where it happened to us in bracket because we only played once in bracket since we started doing that, and the situation didn't really come up that much because I tried to avoid it. I didn't feel comfortable playing the mix-up.
Got it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Of course, Mango comes into chat saying he'd get the stock tattooed on his back if he could.
Oh, I saw that. He said the same thing in your video. So I thought that you pulled up the video. Oh
No,
man,
he's in chat
that's the
saying it
mango
again.
inception. That's mango inception. That's wild.
Jesus
He totally,
Christ.
dude. He fooled me in a lesson.
That's
This guy's too
hilarious.
good.
That's hilarious. I don't know of a spot where he's done that offhand. If you watch sessions with us, I will point it out when he does it. I'll try to do that.
Okay.
I'll try to point it out next time we play on stream when he does that. I'll try to remember.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, I know that's a really specific thing. You also talked about smash DIing during the slide offs, so you can get the slide offs from a more like central part of the platform.
Oh, yeah.
Is that something that you do consistently now, or where are you at with that? 'Cause I think
I'm
this is, like, an older video.
I haven't had a session yet where I actively have tried it, but it is objectively a good thing. I'll do it sometimes on up tilt, but I still haven't kind of just had the balls to do it on Mark's up here yet. But I really should just sit down and do it in the session because I do think it's like very, very good.
Huh.
I do it sometimes like a Falcon's up airing me on the platform. Sometimes I like smash the up air away. And that's gotten me out of it a few times. I don't remember exact situations. I think I got it against Wizzy once or twice. But for some reason against Zane, I'm like particularly scared too. Zane's kind of scary a little bit, I guess. Don't tell Zane I said that because he's a little bitch. Don't tell him I said that either. Just nuke this VOD entirely. But yeah, I think I'm just scared because of like how good his punish game is. I don't want to like miss it. And I'm like, up here we go. I'm dead. Cool.
Right. And I guess it's also like very stage dependent, right? Like you wouldn't even try attempting it on longer platforms, or I guess
maybe like depends on where I land on the platform.
Right. In the 5 essential tips video, you're talking about, you know, how you will wait for Marth to go into a corner, and then that's the times that you'll do like overshoot nairs and things of that nature.
Sure.
Is that idea really like the strength of why Yoshi's is way more of a counter pick nowadays in
It's
Fox
up
Marth?
there. It's definitely up there. Marth, I think that you can play against Marth two ways, with space to dash chance or without space to smother him. Both are equally valid. But I think that if a Fox is playing on point, Yoshi's is the worst stage for Marth in the matchup by a landslide.
Okay, and that has to do with just like the lack of
he can't run away. He dies at fucking like 70%. The wall allowing you to ride is really big. The lip does troll you a little bit. You can't sweet spot down really because of the lip, which is pretty freaking annoying. You also really can't sweet spot side B underneath down tilt, which is also pretty annoying. Those are really the only downsides other than Tipper killing you at pretty early percents.
So why do you think that shifted? Is it just because Foxes were just giving Marth too much respect to like oversimplify it? Is that the idea?
I think Foxes were just bad. Like I think Foxes, myself included, were just bad.
Okay.
I think that's really it. Like no one was able to punish Marth hard enough or execute well enough to consistently like challenge a Marth that would kill you pretty easily.
What would be the way that you play against Marth on Dreamland?
You're not going to overwhelm him as much. You have to earn how to overwhelm, but the thing is you have a lot more space to decide. You have a lot more space to work with, so you can be more choosy about when you go in. The problem is that also like Marth likes that, and so it can get kind of harder to play against. I think it's just if you get a lead on that stage, it's really good for you. More so than most other stages because of how hard you can make it to kill you. But you can be very choosy with when you go in, which is nice, especially because of how wide the platforms are.